Just changing those little things, I'm really able to bring out harmony that ordinarily wouldn't be there. I'm able to let you hear that a chord has changed. There's definitely something different, even though my notes are the same. So we talked about, someone mentioned earlier, the pentatonic scale. Who knows the pentatonic scale? I didn't know I was playing the pentatonic scale when I was playing the pentatonic scale. It was just that, like, you know, that kind of thing. Everybody's solo had that in it. You know, every rock song, pentatonic. Alright, so there's this dude. This is a guitar player named Scott Henderson. He's out there, man, but he does this thing with the pentatonic scale that I bit off because I love fusion music. I do not get paid to play fusion music. Every now and then I will force it into what I'm doing until I get that look, and then I stop and I go back to the regular 5-chord. He uses pentatonic scales to outline very complex chord changes. Like, you know, stuff that just shouldn't be. You know, like chords that you don't play at a rock show. He's got this thing, and he just uses pentatonics. He uses like these little 5-note scales that do a lot. So I said, well, what if I take the same idea and I put it into pop music? I make a very simple scale out of it. And I take the same A minor, A major thing. Which most people know, I can only hang out here, and I can make the same chord changes happen. A 1, 2, same thing. 1, 2, 3. pentatonics and the scales together, I've got a lot more options to play. Still only in the major scale. Still only using patterns that most of you have already learned or begun to learn. So there's so much you can do with it, and I'm always discovering new ways to feel something different there, to hear something different. You know, if someone's playing a 1 chord, I'll put the 6 chord scale instead. Or if he's playing the 6, I'll play the 4, because I love Lydian. If he's playing 5, I'm going to play my arpeggio for my 7. Still play my 3. Go to 4. Still play my 3. 3. 5. Starting from the 3 every time. So I mean, there's different ways to make it feel and different things you can do. But the idea, if I was to highlight and recap anything, and you can ask your teachers about any of this stuff, and any teacher here is going to know the same information I've told you today. The major scale system, or the modes of the major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Take away the fact that there's pitches involved. Take away the G's and the A's and the C's. That stuff is important to know, but rarely do we say this on stage. You know, we'll call a key so you know what your 1 is, but we always speak in numbers. It's just easy to hold up across stage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Because it's hard to hold 2 hands while you're playing, but you throw 1 down and that's 6 and 7. And I mean, this is like the way I speak to everybody I play with. So the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1. Your major scales, starting them off with the position of the major scale, a chord belonging to it, knowing what chord type it is, knowing the formula inside of that chord type, knowing how to bring those things out with the arpeggios that we worked on. What was the Lydian arpeggio? 1, 3, sharp 4, sharp 11, 5, 7, 1. You know, what's the Dorian arpeggio got in it? The 1, the flat 3, 5,
Natural
6. Right, these simple arpeggios. So we take the arpeggios and we start putting them into chord changes. Get proficient at that. Get to where you can move around on it. Go from that to like playing the full scales. At this time, when we're practicing full scales over these chord changes, let's get your foot in sync to where we're playing on tapping on 2 and 4. Just as a musician, that's probably important. Tap on 2 and 4. It gives you a lot more space. As a guitar player, it gives you the ability to not be notey all the time. You can take your time, build phrases a little more to work into something fast, or use your speed to get to one note that you're just going to bend and hold, you know, with a climactic point with your rhythm section. From that point, go into taking like the A minor to A major. You're changing keys in the same position. Still using scale patterns you already know, but changing keys in the same position. It's really, really important as a guitar player to do this. It's one of the hardest things I had to do in my learning, is get really good at changing keys in the same position. Because it's not about your fingers, it's about your head. It's about you hearing a note differently. Once you can do that, starting to play outside and all the cool stuff you hear guys do, that stuff will just come along. It's like this is the first step, or this is opening the door into that. So change keys, A major to A minor. Get good at it. From that point, start rearranging things. Like, okay, so now I got a C major to an A minor. That's the same thing. I'm going to bring out both scales. Same thing. Then I'm switching to A minor, or A major, F sharp minor, doing that. From that point on, we started looking at the pentatonics. Like, how do I take these scales and play them in my different positions, rearranging these little 5-note patterns to where it's outlining the harmony of the chord up under. Did I lose anybody in anything I did today? Do you kind of get the point of everything we talked about? Does anybody have any questions? If you don't, I will call you out and make you have a question. All right, in the back?
Me?
Yeah.
I mean, I was just kind of wondering, like, when you're on stage, like what happens if you change keys? Like, how do you kind of
honestly
show that? I don't even.
Like this. And I mean, the thing is, all right. So one of the groups we play with, when we change keys,
Yeah.
it's just the system in place, and we know if we're playing an E. We're going up a whole step most likely, and we're going to be in F sharp. So we always approach the key we're going to on its 5. So if we're on the E, we're going to walk down. And that's just kind of a thing. We always go from the 5 or to the 5 of where we're going. If we're doing like the A minor to A major thing, and say we're vamping on A minor, I'm going to go like this. Notice I look up. So the same kind of thing. We're calling numbers, giving looks. Once you kind of understand the scale system, it's really easy to know the guy you're playing with and like what this means. You're going up or you're going down. And it doesn't matter where you go. There's 7 notes. And I mean, I'm going to play all 7 of them on my solo anyway. So there's no rules after you kind of get it under your hands. Do you guys have a question?
Yeah, I had a question for you. You said you went from ingesting to digesting, and sometimes we can tell, I can tell that you're just playing because it's there, and sometimes you're thinking about it. Thinking about how do you get from one to the other without hours and hours and hours and hours of practice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
There's a great way
do that.
Seriously, it takes a lot of time. Some people are in a position of where they can practice 4 to 5, 6 hours a day.
Yeah.
And some people have, like, I got 30 minutes at night in between getting home from work and like time to put kids to bed. I mean, do with it what you can.
That is so mean.
I have had times where my full-time job is to practice my guitar. Like, you practice 5, 6, 7, 8 hours a day. That's what you do. Get ready. Don't make a mistake. Learn your part and their part. And I've had times like this week where I've got so much going on. I've had about 40 to 50 songs to learn. And there was no like practicing techniques. It's just like, get this music down. And it's always on a swing schedule. One of the guys I learned from, when he was home from tour, like he wasn't out with a band, like his family knew, like, they're going to college because of the work he's doing. So when he's at home, just because he's home doesn't mean he's home. He's at work, and he would spend 10, 12 hours a day practicing. And I mean, this dude was, I think he was 44 when I was working with him. And I mean, that's still his thing. He does 8-hour days. When he's not on the road, he's still at work. I mean, he'll easily pull that. I don't have it in my schedule right now to do 8 hours. I've got a lot of things going on, but I try and keep it in my hands. I always have something I'm working on. I always have something I'm aspiring to do. If it sounds really good and I'm having fun doing it, I'm not practicing my guitar. I'm just playing. So I have to separate the line, or put a line in between playing and practicing. Anybody else? One more question? Got time for one more? Oh, come on. Somebody's got a question. How about for a drummer or bass player? Any questions?
There's no bass players.
Any bass players?
I have one from a non-musician.
Okay.
For you. Some drummers play with one of the sticks inward and the other one outward. I noticed you do both this way. And you play drums sometimes you do it this way.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. What's
The left hand, that's traditional grip, and I play match grip. So that's just most of the older drummers play the traditional.
where you that I've seen that more because I'm older?
I'm not saying that.
Got it. Thanks.
Anybody else? You got any questions?
No, I'm good.
You're good. You got any questions? No? None?
I'm good. It's good to see you guys.
You too, man.
You guys sound great.
I
Thank
have
you.
missed you.
Y'all sound killer.
You got a question?
Are y'all done playing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're done playing.
I was thinking the streams and I heard y'all playing, so I wanted to pop in. I didn't know it was like a lesson going on.
Oh, it's all good, man. What's your name?
My name's Jimmy. Y'all sound awesome.
Jimmy,
by the
thank
way.
you.
It was cool to listen to y'all.
Thanks,
I'm
man.
gonna split up the music over.
I'm about to split too. We got stuff to do. Guys, I really appreciate it. Thank you for sitting in and listening to me babble and make really dumb jokes and talk about things you have never seen on TV. Appreciate you guys. And that